Hi, welcome to Painting with Jasmine Rempel Art. I'm Jasmine and today we're going to paint some bull kelp. This is a watercolor card, Strathmore cold pressed, 140 pounds, 5 by 7 inches. Here I have a set of silver black velvet brushes from 0 all the way to 12. I'll be using some of these. Some paper towels, some water, and I have some paints here. These are Windsor Newton professional level. All right, let's get started. So what I did to begin was I sketched out 3 bull kelp bulbs, and this is going to be an underwater bull kelp watercolor card. I spent a lot of time on Vancouver Island and I love the ocean, and right now I'm living in Kamloops where it's more of a desert, and so I'm just remembering fondly the look of bull kelp, and that's why I'm painting this for my next watercolor card. All right, so I've sketched out the bottom of some bull kelp. Usually I sketch quite lightly, but for the sake of this video, I have darkened my sketch so you can see. I'm going to start with these. I'm going to use my number 4 brush, and I'm going to reach into my burnt sienna. That will be one of my main colors for this bull kelp painting. I'm just with a wet brush going into my little burnt sienna cake, and I'm getting it wet and bringing a little pool over that I can use. I'm also going to do the same in yellow ochre. I love this color as well. And I'll be using some sap green. There we go. I can reach for more as I need it, but here's a little pool to start, and some Prussian Blue. Nice dark, dark, dark blue. I use it a lot when I paint. Okay, so there we go. So to start these bull kelp shapes, I'll start one with this burnt sienna. Using again a number 4 brush. It's a round brush, and I'll just fill in some color here with the tip of my brush. And just pull it down and a rather curved line. And there we go. There's the first one. While it's wet, I'm going to put some Prussian Blue in it. I'm making little tips here for where the leaves will come out. So while it's wet, as I said, I'm going to touch the Prussian Blue and just tap a little bit into the sides here to create a shadow effect. And I'll run a little bit of that down here as well. Okay, it's just going to bleed out a bit. I'm actually picking up a little bit of it. I felt like it was quite dark. Picking up, what I did was I cleaned my brush and I dried it, and then I was able to pick up a bit of the blue. All right, now speaking of a dry brush, I'm going to dry this brush with tissue, and then I'm just going to lift while it's wet a little bit here, and that will create a nice highlight. All right, there is the first one done. For the next one, I'm going into this yellow ochre, and I'll fill in this round shape with the yellow ochre. A few tips for where the leaves come out, and pull that down. And then I'm going to pick up a bit of the burnt sienna and add it in as well. Good. And a bit of the blue. Little bit of the blue. Nice. Super. That's looking nice. And now I'm going to take some of the yellow ochre and some of the burnt sienna, mix them both together, and that's what I'll use for my last bulk kelp. Just a round shape here and pulling down, maybe picking up a bit more burnt sienna. Adding that in, darkening it up a bit. And that blue for a bit of a shadow effect. Right in the corner, right in the edge there. Oh, that's quite dark blue. Lifting some up. Blending it in a bit. Okay. Good, that'll work. That will work. Now, while it's wet again, I am going to lift a little highlight with my brush. Just cleaned it off, dried it off, and the thirsty brush will soak up a bit of the paint and leave this nice whitish highlight. All right, there they are. Floating bulk kelp. Now we need the leaves. So I have a giant brush here for my leaves. This is a 12, and I'm getting it wet. I'm heading into my burnt sienna and adding more to this mixture. I want quite a wet brush, and that's what I've got. This part is honestly just so fun. Oops, I seem to have some blue in it. That's okay. That's going to make it a little more brown. I do not know how that blue got in there, but there it is. Okay, good. So, time for some fun. I'm going to start with the tip of the brush, applying a little pressure, and then I'll apply a lot of pressure as it comes up. And I'm going to do this turning this around. Let's start in the center one. Tip of the brush, more pressure, turning, and up it goes. Super. Now, it will dry fairly quickly, so what I'm going to do is just tap in some of that burnt sienna here and there, and I'll get these nice textured effects along the kelp. And I want to do the same thing with a bit of this sap green. Tapping it in. I need more on my brush. Just tapping in some of that sap green. There we go. So pretty. All right, there's our first leaf. And now I'm reaching for my number 2 brush, and I'm just putting water on it, and I'm going to tap some of that water right on top. It's going to create these nice blooms of white. Okay, super. Texture is coming. There's one. Now let's make another. Into my yellow ochre, got lots of that. Grab a bit of the burnt sienna, and let's create one from this. A little bit of pressure, a lot, twisting my brush as I go. Up it goes. Oh my gosh, how beautiful. Now let's get straight burnt sienna and tap some of that in, just here and there. You can see how it's bleeding out into these pretty nice little blooms, creating a textured effect. And let's add a bit of that Prussian Blue, doing the same thing. Gorgeous. Wow, love, 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 love. All right, I'd like some of that blue also in this one while it's still wet, just in a few areas to create a bit of unity. I feel like I'm gonna lift out the center there. Neat. All in the name of fun. Some of this green, perhaps. At this point, I'm playing. Okay. I like that. Now, we want another leaf. So, let's go into this burnt sienna again. And I'm gonna mix some of that yellow ochre. And here I go. Imagining that it's wavy under the water, so these leaves are moving around. Bit of the greens. Tapping it in, creating some neat patterns. Wow, loving it. Painting is so fun, isn't it? It's fun to use a big brush. You kind of have to let go. You have to just let it happen. Okay. Let's get some of that blue with some of the green. I want to be able to see it. Maybe just in the few areas. Good. I love that. Love, love, love. Okay, now I'm going to sprinkle a bit of salt, and then I'm going to let these dry before I do my other. This is kosher salt. This one might be too dry already for it, but this one is not. So I'm going to let this dry and then I'll come back to it. Okay, this is dry now. I'm just going to use my square rubber eraser to get the salt off. Oh, I love that effect. That looks very good. I'll bring it up close so you can see all the textures. All right, okay, I'm ready to do a couple of more of the leaves. So I'll reach for my number 12 brush again, and into the Prussian Blue. I think I'll do one that has more blue this time, and add a little of that Sap Green in there. Ooh, yeah, that's a beautiful color right there. Okay, starting right here. And bringing it up and over. I need some taps of texture dots in there. Dries so quickly. Just reaching in for some Sap Green now. This is a dry area, and I'm just tapping my brush here and there and purposely leaving some areas not painted so that it gives that look of the texture. Kind of a mottled look. Do the same thing here. So I've got the blue, a lot of the blue underneath, and then this more of a green color on top. Let's bring a little bit down. Looks good. I like that. Nice. I'll drop a little bit of salt in there. There's a little bit still wet. All right, good. Move on to another one. And let's get that sap green. Let's go straight in with this color. So pretty. Clean off my brush, reach in for a bit of the blue. Nice, and a bit of the yellow. Oh yeah, gorgeous. How fun. And let's actually get some salt. Obviously, these are not realistic bull kelp because we've got blues and greens and yellows and oranges and reds, but they are doing these are fun bull kelp. That's the nice thing about being an artist. You have liberty to create the way you deem fit in your creation. And I was not aiming for naturalistic. I was aiming, I'm just adding burnt sienna here. I was aiming for fun, texture, movement. All right. We need one here. Let's go for the yellow. My, what kind of yellow is this? Yellow ochre. Stretch it across here. And let's get some of the blue in there. Wow. Okay. Definitely blue in there. Maybe more than I intended, but that's okay. I'll work with it. I've just cleaned off my brush and dried it. So now I'm lifting a bit of this blue. In the end, I think it's going to work out because I've got blue here and there and everywhere. So I'm just going to add a bit of green now. build unity between all three, and all three bull kelp. All three of the foliage of the bull kelp is what I'm meaning. And for this one, I think what I'm going to do is tap some water on it. There is my 0 round brush, got water in it, and I'm just tapping that down on top. Kind of acts like salt effect, different. Good. Now they each have 2 leaves, and that's quite nice. I think I will just maybe pull one across this way, or actually I think from here is what I'll do. Just do one more. And the question always is, what color? I've got 3 cool colors, 3 warm colors. Let's go with the original. Let's go with the burnt sienna. There we go. Bit of yellow in there. Super. Okay. Pull it across. There we go. It's going off into the water breeze, or the water, whatever makes water move. Okay, let's tap in some other colors in there. Get my green. There. Love it. Bit of salt. Now, we've got salt drying here, salt drying there. I'm going to turn this over and have a look at it this way. Wow, how fun, how beautiful, sparkly, pretty. I love it. I am going to sign it with my liner brush. If I can find my liner brush. Well, how strange. I don't, oh, here it is. Okay. I think I'll sign it with this nice blue, add a bit of the burnt sienna to it. JR, Jasmine Rempel. And I think I'll add a few splatters. Same color. It's water after all. Lovely. Okay, let's peel this off. Still needs to dry, and I still need to get the salt off. But you can get a good idea of what the final result's going to be like. All right, I'm just going to take a moment to blow dry this. All right, I've blow dried this and scraped off the salt. And so here we have a bulk kelp watercolor card. I hope you've enjoyed this process and that you get a chance to create your own. If you do, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see it. In the description to this YouTube tutorial, I share my Instagram account where you can message me. You of course can also leave a comment in this YouTube tutorial. I'd love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe. All the best. Happy creating. Bye for now.